The following is a presentation of the IH Sports Network.
High school football is on the air. The Oneida Indians, the Scott Highlanders, with Tim Smith, Rick Keaton, and their entire broadcast teams. This is Tennessee's most complete high school football coverage.
Sponsored by Twin K, South Fork Physical Therapy, First National Bank, El Rey, Lumber King, Ray's Axe, Danny's Drugs, TNT Car Wash, Tommy's Motorsports, and Mountain People's Health Councils.
Produced by the IH Sports Network, Friday Night Football begins now.
Hi, I'm Rick Keaton for the IH Sports Network. This begins our fourth season of streaming Highlander and Oneida Indian football on the IH Sports Network. If you want to find out about us, find out how to follow us, even on our website, that's ihsports.net. You can follow us on Facebook, you can follow us on YouTube. That's all the ways that you can follow us during this 2024 season of Highlander football. Well, right now I'm in the home bleachers. I'm in front of the press box, and for this season, it's the first time ever that the press box will carry a sponsor logo. It'll now be known as the Twin K Press Box. By the way, 2024 also happens to be our 54th season of Highlander football, and we look forward to being part of that in our fourth season at the IHSM. In later segments this evening, we'll talk with Highlander new head coach Billy Hall and also the rest of the Highlander coaches. We'll start this season with two of the biggest and exciting changes for Highlander football. The first came back on January 23rd as Billy Mark Hall II was named as the 14th head coach in Highlander football history. Billy, of course, was a former football, basketball, and baseball player at Scott High. He played his college football at Reinhardt University in Waleska, Georgia. He was their starting quarterback. He was a captain, also won a national championship there. And he's also played professionally in the Canadian Football League and the Indoor Football League. And the second change, which I think has gotten everybody excited, is the decision by the Board of Education in April to install a new turf field at Highlander Stadium. Uses for the football field, I call it football field, but uses for the field will include high school and middle school football. How about girls and boys soccer? How about JV football? How about graduation ceremonies? How about maybe storm football? There's a multitude of purposes that this multi-purpose field can be used for, and we look forward to seeing those as this 2024 summer and fall season progresses. I thought it might be fun to start with a little history lesson about Highlander Stadium and Highlander Field. Many of you don't know that the first season of Highlander football, there was no football field here. There was no grandstand. There was no coliseum. There was nothing here. So all the games were played at the former Huntsville High School. It's now the Huntsville Middle School, Jack Diggs Field. So all the games for that first year was played there. Then along came 1972. By that time, the field and stadium, they were prepped and ready for use. Now, the first home game, we were here. Matter of fact, the night before, on the Thursday night before the home game, we were still putting the bleacher seats in place and screwing those on. I had a lot of volunteers out here working for that. The stadium at that time, 1972, was really very modern. You don't see many stadiums now that offer everything that the original stadium had. It was taller. It had many more rows of seats. The home team and the visiting team both sat on the bleachers there. The backside of the stadium, what would be facing the school, you had dressing rooms for both teams. The Highlander dressing room, not only was it a large dressing room, they had a meeting space, they had a coach's room, they had a weight room in there. It was very, very spacious. They had the public restrooms and a very, very large concession area. I mean, it was a nice stadium, and I want to say I really miss that red-sided stadium. However, that stadium's roof was covered by the bleacher seats, and when the roof started to deteriorate on the stadium, they went a couple of years actually hanging plastic from the ceiling inside the dressing room to capture the water that was leaking through and to try to funnel it into drains. So, with really no good decision on what they could do, a decision was made because you'd have to take all the seating and everything off to put the new roof down, and this was going to be a 20-year project, every 20 years. So the decision was made, tear it down, start over, put in the bleachers that I'm sitting in right now, and for the first time ever, visitor bleachers across the field. The decision to tear down that stadium also led to a couple other problems. Had to build a concession stand, which is on the south side of the bleachers here. Had to build a new field house and expansion over the years of the field house. That's to the north end right here. That really had to be done, and with the visitors still dressing up at the school now. I mean, like I say, I can't say enough about that stadium, but it was nice. We really enjoyed that stadium and all that it had to offer. There have been several changes to the current stadium and playing field over the last few years. Let's talk about those. We talked about concession stand, visiting stands, the field house down there. But in the last few years, a new scoreboard, the play clocks, a new modern sound system, and then 2 years ago, the modern LED lighting was installed. It was wonderful to have all these items, and plus, I forgot to mention the new equipment in the weight room brought in last year, and that has really been beneficial to these young men as they begin their football season for this year. They've really worked hard in the weight room. With that, the next segment coming up, I think we've got a time lapse of the field construction to a certain point when we put this actually together, the segments in our 2024 preview. So that coming up next, you can take a look at how that's going on. You know, it has to be a time-lapse thing, because if it was not, it would take hours just to see that part right there. And after that, I'll join new Highlander head coach Billy Hall down on the field as we talk about Highlander football. That coming up when our next segment begins.
When your job requires concrete, call Twin K Enterprises. We take pride in both residential and commercial projects. Our concrete is state certified and lab tested with proven high strength mixed results. We have certified facility operators and mixed design technicians to be sure our customers get the best mix the first time, every time. Twin K has 6 concrete plants to serve the entire Highway 27 corridor from Georgia to Kentucky. Twin K, call 569-6341.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you to those who have supported South Fork Physical Therapy for the past 20 years. Because of you, we have been able to live and work in the community we love. We appreciate you, Scott County.
El Rey is Scott County's home for great Mexican flavor. Located in Oneida Plaza, we're just up the sidewalk from Walmart. From our fresh chips that are made daily to our chicken or beef fajitas that are big enough to share, El Rey uses the freshest ingredients to serve authentic Mexican dishes that will be a hit with the entire family. Stop in before the game on Friday, or pop in on Saturday and watch college football on one of nearly a dozen screens while you eat. That's El Rey Azteca, open until 9 p.m. Sunday through Thursday and 10 p.m. on weekends.
Home-style cooking with friendly service in a relaxed atmosphere. That's Razax. Razax offers breakfast served daily, just like Grandma fixed it, and daily specials like country fried steak, turkey and dressing, and of course, a fish fry every Friday. Razax has a full menu, ranging from quick and easy favorites like hamburgers and club sandwiches to comfort foods like pinto beans. And you'll love something off the grill, like grade A cut sirloin, ribeye, or shrimp kebabs. Razax. Country cooking and great steaks.
I'm with Highlander new head coach, Billy Mark Hall. And as you can see, Coach Hall, I brought my clipboard with me this evening there.
Yes, sir.
But thanks for taking the time as we work on our preseason special for the IH Sports Network this season. We're going to ask a bunch of questions and we're going to work our way down the field a little bit here. We've talked a lot over the years. You knew you wanted to be a coach at some point in time. Did you ever have any idea that you could be the head coach at this early stage of your career?
Honestly, no. I'd never really even considered being a head coach. Like, I just knew I wanted to be a part of it. And then the more I got into it, the more I started working with it and everything. Kind of circumstances that happened last year, and I was able to fill in that role for a little bit. Like, it kind of just clicked with me, and I knew, like, you know, I'd been around it my whole life, and I was just like, man, like, this is what I want to do.
Perfect opportunity there. You mentioned you've been on the coaching staff the last 2 years. What do you feel needs to be changed with the team and why? And I'm going to mention culture first, and then we'll talk about schemes, personnel, and work ethic. But certainly culture and work ethic are the two first things I want to
Yeah, I think the big thing with our culture is just not giving up almost. I know that sounds kind of bad, but just being able to play through all the adversity that happens in football. You know, like sometimes bad stuff happens. You know, sometimes like they're going to beat us at some point, like on a play. And like we got to be able to bounce back, or we're going to throw a pick. We got to be able to bounce back, go to the next play, and just keep on rolling.
Indeed. Let's talk then about your schemes, offensive and defensive schemes, what you probably going to play in your base, and then anything you want to add from there.
Offensive scheme, we're like pistol spread, RPO type stuff. Kind of just where we try to put like certain people in a predicament where they got to pick between one or the other, and then we'll take advantage of like if they pick the run, we're going to throw it. If they pick the throw, we're going to run it. Super simple. Just get it in and out quick, get the ball out of your hands fast, and then up front, we're coming right at you. We ain't gonna try to do a whole lot of fancy stuff. Keep it simple, keep it basic, and just go forward. Defensively, we're 4-2-5 scheme-wise, and then pretty much just fly around.
There you go. How about personnel? I know you've upgraded, you got a lot more kids on the roster than we've had the last probably 3 or 4 or 5 years. What's the challenge been in getting the kids to come out and play football for you?
I think we just get them excited about football again, you know, because, you know, you talked to them before and they were just like, well, you know, I don't know if I want to go through that. You know, football is hard. I don't know if I want to go through that. But it is hard. Football is a hard sport, or you'd have 300 kids on every team. It is hard. But if you get them bought in and know that there's going to be a reward at the end of it, or that they're going to have fun while they're working hard, then that was it pretty much. Like,
what have you seen from, since you were named as a coach through spring practice to now, in terms of fan support, both students in the school and outside?
I think it's been awesome. I've never heard a negative thing. Like, everything's been positive, you know, always wishing us the best and everything like that.
We're going to walk on down here. We've got a surprise for our audiences. We need to tell everybody again that we're filming this a couple of weeks before the start of the season. So things aren't finished. You can see we're on the football field now. And no, this is not artificial turf that we're standing on, that's for sure. What are some of the challenges that you hope to overcome this season, from getting players to come out, which I think you just partially addressed, transportation, to and from practice and games? What are your thoughts on those areas?
I think the big thing we got to overcome is the kids just got to learn how to win. Like, they got to learn how to compete for 4 quarters. They got to learn how to just keep going through all the bad stuff and just keep playing and staying together. Transportation's honestly been like pretty good. We've had to take a couple kids home, but it's been nothing bad. It's never really been a big issue for us.
From the administrative support at the school, and then building support from the student system, school just got started. Can you see this ratcheting up for the next 2 weeks, getting ready for that first game?
Oh yeah, absolutely. All the time I got students in school ask me when the first game is, you know, when's the first home game, what's the first theme for our student section. Like, it seems like they're all about it. And then administration's been absolutely awesome. Like, nothing bad to say about it. They're always, you know, what do you need? What can we do for you? How can we help? And they always tell me how excited they are for it to get here.
We're going to talk with your assistant coaches in just a few moments, but there was a real grind on your part to try to get enough assistant coaches your first year.
Yeah, yes sir.
And so, I mean, I guess it's falling in place now, and we'll introduce those later on, but let's address that just a little bit. Was it that tough, or people that you wanted, just maybe they work and they'd have to be here part-time and you just couldn't get that to fit into the
It was more just what I needed to fit what we were doing. is more than anything what it was. Like, we're really like specializing every single group. And I needed dudes that I knew that could go in there and would still learn every single day, attack it every day, and hold them kids at every position group to the highest standard.
Coach, let's move on up just a little bit. Because of the schedule, you only got 4 home games in the entire season. First 3 games are on the road. How hard is it to get prepared for those road games? Of course, you've got a scrimmage, you've got a jamboree. Those are on the road. Does that help as you prepare for that?
Yeah, absolutely. That's why I started telling them in spring. Like, all of our spring scrimmages are on the road. All of our fall scrimmages are on the road. I was trying to get them used to it as much as I could. And it's a grind. Like, when you have to, your first three games on the road, you practice 4 days, and then the next day you're driving an hour and a half to go play. Like, it's a grind. But hopefully these scrimmages will help and kind of get used to it a little bit.
Let's see. How about returning experience on the team versus lack of experience this year? What do you say about that?
Honestly, like, everybody's pretty much played. Like, we're returning a lot of guys.
Right. Because you got a lot of juniors this year.
This junior class is really big. Pretty much about every spot, for the most part, other than quarterback, every spot's pretty much the dudes played valuable minutes at that spot.
That's a blessing, really, to have that. Positions that need most improvement, you think, so far? And I know you're going to say, well, we can improve on everything.
Yeah, absolutely. O-line, just little things. I mean, everything's just like every position, really, but it's just little things. Like, you know, making sure we're taking the right angle to somewhere, making sure we're stepping with the right foot first, you know, making sure we're taking the right drop in a pass game or the right path as a running back. Like, it's just little things right now, honestly.
Those are all things I see you work on each and every day in practice, so that's good to see. You had the spring with the team. You've had the summer practices that's about halfway through right now with 2 weeks to go before the season starts. What's pleased you the most that you've learned about the kids during spring and summer now? And, you know, how can you get that to carry forward another step with them?
My gosh, Rick, they attack it. Like I'll be honest, like, from spring all the way until now, we've probably honestly had 2 bad days. And which is gonna happen. But like, we've probably honestly legit had 2 bad days. Other than that, I mean, them kids go out there every single day and they just go at it and go get it.
That's good to know. How about the overall health of the team? Anyone, I know you got some kids banged up, anyone that might not be available by the time that game rolls around on the 23rd at Cumberland County?
Nick Hatfield will probably be the only one that won't be ready to go. But he's just like two more weeks after season starts and he'll be fully cleared. But other than that, I mean, I think we're pretty good.
Excellent. I don't want to put anybody on a spot or anything like this. Who are some of the leaders you've got on the team? Kids that speak up, that hold the younger classmen accountable and push them.
Desmond Bolin does a great job of it.
Yes.
Gage Privet, like, if you would have told me in spring he was going to be a leader, I would have told you were crazy. He was quiet, would never really say anything, and now it's like he's all about it. Like, and them kids follow him, they listen, and they just go. Eli Kidd's another one on that offensive line that he's pushing people every single day to bring their best. That's probably the 3 main ones, but then, I mean, there's so many, like, everybody shows glimpses of it, honestly. It's honestly, like, awesome to watch.
Speaking of who you just mentioned, Gage Privet as an example, right now he's penciled in to be your starting quarterback. He just played defense last year, but he's going to be the quarterback this year. You're going to have a couple new receivers, but let's talk about Gage at the QB spot. Let's talk about your receivers and maybe who you project to be your starting running backs this year.
Yeah, so Gage at quarterback, starting in spring and just working with him. You know, I left for a little bit and then coming back and working with him. The amount he's improved from spring to now is night and day. And there's still stuff he struggles with, but he works it every single day. And he grows every single day. And I remember having a conversation with spring. He was down on himself a little bit, and I said, Gage, this today is the worst you will ever be as a quarterback. And he was like, yes, sir. And like, I've put him through some tough stuff and challenged him a lot. And he's accepted it, and he's grown from it, and he's learned from it, and he's gonna keep getting better every day. Like, well, you watch Gage the first Friday night, the next Friday's gonna be better. Like, he will continue to get better every single day.
We talked back in the spring after a scrimmage, and you said, you know, if he doesn't throw a pass just right or something like that, he gets down on himself, then that little loss of confidence takes him a couple of reps to build the confidence back.
It seems like he's starting to get over that.
Good.
Like, I'll tell you, 7-on-7, I went over there one day and challenged the crap out of him. And I was pretty much, I mean, this is going to sound bad, but pretty much like putting him in situations where he wasn't going to succeed. Just because I needed him to get over that part of being down on himself. Like, I needed him to get past it. Like, you throw a pick, like, okay, next play. Like, I need you ready for the next drive. And from that point to, like, now, it's all, like, he's gotten so much better.
Well, we really look forward to seeing him play. We really do. How about the special teams? I think I know you got probably good news in terms of special teams today. So.
Yeah, absolutely. Got a kicker today.
You're probably the only coach in East Tennessee that's we're going to be talking and going to say, hey, it's 2 weeks to our first game. We got a kicker.
Yeah, we got one, though.
But I think you also, when you're talking about your special teams, especially your return games, I think you got a couple of dynamic youngsters, freshmen, maybe a sophomore, that you might be expecting a whole lot in the return game.
Yeah, absolutely. We got both Bond brothers back deep. And that's cool to me. And both of them can go. Both of them can make you miss. They can both go, and they run stinking hard.
And Michael, as a freshman, broke his leg.
Yep.
And last year we watched him, and even though declared healthy, he still favored that a little bit.
Seemed like a half step slow almost.
But now he's 100%
full go.
go.
Full go.
Good to see that. How about the offensive line? Let's talk about your strengths and players that you want to recognize a little bit on the offensive line.
I'll be honest, all of them. Like Hunter Lawson at center, he'll get on you, and he gets on you in a hurry. He's a little undersized, but he gets on you in a hurry, and he plays so dang hard every single snap. I mentioned Eli Kidd kind of being a leader. He's our left tackle. He's big and long. Hayden Mason at left guard. Elijah will play a little bit of left guard. They're kind of built the same, move the same. They both play super hard. Caleb Bell at right guard has made probably more improvement than anybody we've had on this entire team this year, from like spring to now. Just because like last year, you never knew what he was going to bring. You never knew what kind of day Caleb Bell was going to have. And now, I mean, every day's a good day for the most part. Like, he came out here, was sick one day, and you never knew it. He's going 100 miles an hour. You got Braden Potter at right tackle, who's a little banged up right now, but should be coming back before the first game. Archer Carl's another one that's filling in there. I mean,
so you got a little, you got your stars, you got a little depth in there that you can play
absolutely.
with. And that's good. You mentioned defensively, 4-2-5. What's that front six look like for you in terms of the front four up front and then your two linebackers?
We got Braden Potter, Hunter Lawson, Mason Lowland, Tyler Adkins. Then you got Desmond Bolin and Mason Akers, and also Wade Litton kind of filling in any of those spots, D tackle, D end, and linebacker.
You got some guys that want to, I think, bring the punishment. Is that a? I shouldn't say that, but I think they can.
You're right. We're just pretty much telling them to play downhill. You know, be aggressive, play downhill, play 100 miles an hour.
I don't want to put you on the spot here, but in terms of player predictions, who can or who should have a good season for us to have some success this year?
Oh man, there's a lot. Honestly, Gus King, biggest change probably from off season to now. He was center last year, played defensive end. He's full-time tight end slot receiver now. We've got some stuff. We put him out by himself receiver, and he has looked like, I mean, almost unreal. Because if you would have told me, like if you watch him, didn't know him, said he played center last year, you wouldn't believe it. Dawson Spradlin at receiver, he just keeps getting better from last year. Michael Bond's in the slot, plays some running back. Brett Hall, Braxton Potter's a freshman. I mean, everybody's kind of just growing. And it's honestly like, it wouldn't surprise me if any of them just have a breakout year. It really wouldn't.
Well, it's honest that you mentioned Gus King. I really like Gus King. Talked to him after last season. He said, I'm going to put on 15 pounds. But guess what? You decided to move him to a receiver. He's lost 15 pounds. I mean, you're thin, but he looks real thin there like that. You may have more than one thing, but what's the number one thing that you foresee right now that needs to improve before the Cumberland County game in 2 weeks?
I think it's just consistency. you know, consistently running to the football, consistently breaking down and making tackles, consistently knowing your assignment on the O-line, consistently running the route right at the right depth. You know, and I think it's just consistency with gauging his drop and his timing on the throw. That's the big thing. I really just think it's consistency, like throughout, like every spot.
Exactly. A lot of things have happened in the football program the last couple of years. You know, the last 5 or 6 years have been quite a few improvements actually here. Talking about sound system, talk about lights, talk about everything. New weight room, new weight system last year. And the number one thing we hear a lot of talk about, and we're going to give people a little preview right now. How excited are you for the turf that's going to? You played on turf in your college career.
I'm so excited. To me, I think it's the greatest thing ever. Honestly, I really do.
Right. And still got some work to go. It's going to be a 20 or 25 day project, but the crew's got 2/3 basically of the field area down. Still got a lot of work behind the end zones to the sidelines and stuff like that, but it's going to be I think a special treat for our players to finally get here for that first game, I think on September the something or other. 13th. We got to play 3 games on the road to get here, but I can tell you're excited, and and I think they're excited about it. But right now, as I watch practice, they're focused on their day-to-day work.
Yeah, that's what we kind of instilled in them. Trying to don't look too far ahead. Take it day by day. Get better that day. Don't worry about, oh man, we got to be at this in 2 weeks. No, just focus on what you're supposed to do that day and get better at that day.
Any final thought?
Love your red.
Love your red. We're going to be back in just a moment. We're going to talk with Coach Hall's assistants and get some input from them. And we'll do that when we come back.
If you're a DIYer, Lumber King is your supplier. Equipment and tools, we got it. Paint and cleaning supplies, we got it. Rugged apparel and lawn care, we got that too. Visit us at 20359 Alberta Street in Oneida, Tennessee to make all your DIY dreams come true.
Danny's Drugs has been dedicated to providing patients with quality healthcare services since 1966. From our beginnings as a fountain drugstore to our current location on the 4th Lane in Oneida, one thing has remained the same: exceptional service. Our staff of highly motivated and carefully trained professionals understand your needs and respond to them in a personal and friendly manner. Our staff works together as a team to provide the finest patient care available. That's Danny's Drugs, putting patients first since 1966.
Forget the bucket, stop buying those expensive car care products. For a supreme clean, visit TNT Car Wash in Oneida. TNT Car Wash features the latest in automatic car wash technology. Our wash bays offer friction or touchless options that are tough on road grime, but gentle on your car's finish. These feature-packed automatics give you complete control of the wash. Want to wash it yourself? TNT also has traditional wash bays. And don't forget the interior, both vacuum and shampoo stations available. For a dynamite clean, TNT Car Wash Oneida.
Tommy's Motorsports is East Tennessee's premier power sports dealership. We're a full-service dealership offering sales, parts, and service with 2 locations to serve you. In Clinton, you'll find Kawasaki, Suzuki, Yamaha, Wave Runner, Polaris, Slingshot, and Homestead trailers. In Crossville, you'll find Honda, Polaris, Can-Am, Sea-Doo, Bad Boy, Roxor, and Yamaha. Come in today and see why Tommy's Motorsports has developed the highest reputation for quality and customer service.
As we come back, we wanted to talk with the Highlander coaches, assistant coaches, just a little bit. And we've got them all out here. I'm going to ask Coach Hall, if, starting on your left over there, if you would introduce each one of the coaches, and we'll just, we'll get into some questions for them.
Yes, sir. Isaac Blakely, Cody Birchfield, Eric Privet, Bill Hall, Mason Owens, and John Hayden Strunk.
Good 7-looking guys, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Okay, there we go there. Okay. Well, let's start all the way. I want to save John for last. Do you want to go first?
No, it's
okay. Let's go down there.
Go at all, Rick.
just think about this right here. These are general questions for each coach. What group do you work with? We know John works with every group. What group do you work with? Who's a good group leader there? What do you like about the team, the overall team, who you think is capable of having a good year on the team? Okay, let's start. Isaac, you'll start us right off, okay?
So I work with linebackers. What was the next question?
It had something. It had something. Is that group improving?
Yes, I don't know if it's me, but they are improving. Okay. I think the leader of our group is definitely Sig. We call him Sig, Desmond Bowling, who he's probably the defensive leader, I would say.
He's got a good motor, too.
He's got a good motor. He listens. He pays attention. He works hard. He's smart. Most importantly, I think he's very smart. He knows what's going on, and he knows what everybody else is supposed to be doing, too.
Well, that's excellent to have that. What do you like about the team, the makeup of the team, Isaac?
I think that we have a very, as well, I say that it's group to group, but I think as a team we have a good attitude. We have a lot of very good kids, very coachable kids who seems like they see how much work we're putting in and they want to do more. So I think good attitude.
Who's capable of a good year for us? Who can do some of the things that the coaching staff wants to see done, whether it's be catch the pass, throw the pass, return the kickoff?
Top of my head, I think probably if I had to pick two that I think will show out more this season, I think Gus will have a very good season at Y. I think that Gage will have a good season at quarterback. And I think Keegan will have a really good season at corner.
And those are positions that we definitely need to see the improvement on, right?
And more, yes.
Well, let's switch over to Cody. You want
okay, I didn't know if you was going the same thing. I was waiting on you. I'm sorry.
What position or group do you coach, or groups do you coach, Cody? And so
I help with receivers and corners. And then for a leader in our group, I'll echo what he says. Probably Gus, even though he's a Y. I'll go with Gus. Probably him and Keegan Boland, but we're kind of by committee at receiver. And then corners, probably Keegan. If I had to say somebody, probably Keegan is the leader.
You were on last year's coaching staff.
Yes.
What have you seen improvement-wise spring and summer this year to get this team better prepared for the first game?
Probably work ethic, attitude, being bought in, less selfishness, just wanting everybody to succeed, and then coaching staff. I mean, the X's and O's, the communication, the camaraderie between all of us. I think we all genuinely like each other and want to be here. Probably those things have fed into us really improving from even spring to now. So
I'm going to make a comment before I get to the rest of it. Woody was in there a while ago, came out here, and he said, you know, those guys are crazy in there. And I said, no, they're just a fun group of people to be around.
We have fun. We have a lot of fun.
I mean,
you got to be crazy, Coach Guy.
Yeah, you got to be. Let's pass it right on down here. Also joining us again as a returning coach, I think he's also your defensive coordinator.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Mr. Coach Eric Privet.
Yes, sir. Defensive coordinator, coach running backs, help Coach Blakely with linebackers. Overall, running back wise, I'm like Cody. I think it's more of a committee. I think whoever's next guy up is capable of really carrying the load. Somebody we didn't mention for players have a big year is Michael Bond. He's coming back off of an injury. So we saw glimpses last year that he was really good. But this year, I think his confidence is up. You know, I think he's going to have a really big year too.
Yeah. Is there any other area that you want to see between now and when we get to Cumberland County? Any area that you want to really see, you'd like to see take a big jump in their progress?
You talking individually or team-wise?
Team-wise, I think.
Team-wise, you can't. We got a standard up here.
Right.
All right, as a coaching staff and our kids have, like they said, have all bought in. We're setting a really high standard, really high expectations. So I think just getting better every day and just getting to our full potential. I think we're just scratching the surface. You know, we're still pretty young. I think we have 9 seniors maybe. Yeah. So I mean, we're still really young. So I mean, I think the future's bright.
Is the defensive scheme, the 4-2-5, is that different from last year?
The 4-2-5 will be what we come out in as a base, but we will not stay in it.
Okay.
So it'll be situational. So
situational based on situation in the games and
yes,
teams
sir.
you play each week.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay. Let's pass it on down. This is Coach Bill Hall,
Hello.
The former head coach.
Sir.
High school basketball and football here at Scott High.
Yes, sir.
What does it feel like to get back out on the field and where you can really open up and yell now?
Well, first of all, it's an honor to be working with these guys. My role is I help with defensive ends, defensive line, offensive line. Really when this thing started, I really had no intention just to go in and watching and sitting and, from that perspective. But as time has gone, and I think from a needs-based perspective, Coach Billy Hall asked me if I would help, and I was honored, in that capacity. As far as players I'm looking to have a big year, I'm talking from an offensive line perspective right now. Look at Eli Kidd to really step up as a leader. I'd like to see him be a little bit more vocal and those things. Hayden Mason is very capable. Also, you may have mentioned Hunter Lawson up front. He's 155 pounds, but he gets on you so quick, stays on you, and that's a thing that we really like. And I mentioned them all. Caleb Bell, who's I think immensely improved, along with when we're healthy, we'll see Braxton Parker right now. Archer will be starting at our right tackle. Got some great young freshmen coming in there also too. That's going to step up and. You hope you don't have to play them, but they're getting ready. Defensive wise, Tyler, and his last name escaped me. Atkins, from a defensive end, he's very quick. I think he's buying in. Been the biggest thing we've seen with him. He has the ability. If you remember last year against Austin East, where he had a couple sacks, but he's buying in from the scheme. He's buying in of recognizing run, recognizing pass, reading keys, and also has a great burst. Coming off the edge. Plus, he's 30 pounds heavier than he was last year, so that's a great thing, too. As far as just individual kids, I think to have a big year, like what he said, I think Michael Bond has shown glimpse of really, really, really ready to explode. I think Gage has improved so much as a quarterback. Now look at Michael Bowles as a free safety and also as a backup QB also, too. Both has potential there. He's made dramatic improvements, and along with some of the secondary folks, Peyton Griffith, and I know they mentioned Keegan. And our secondary guys doing a great job with them. So that's been a big plus. So I'm getting long-winded too again, aren't I? Can I talk about the turf for just 1 second?
We'll come back to that.
Yeah, okay, I'm kidding.
No, we'll come back
I'll pass it on
to really the new coach. Well. Isaac's new coach, but the other new coach, Mason Owens, who, like everybody else, mostly except Eric, former athlete here. But Mason, you come back after a solid career, 4-year career in Ohio as a defensive secondary specialist. Can I call you that?
Yes, sir.
Because
yes, sir.
maybe I'm expecting too much, but I've watched you. Your knowledge level is pretty good there, like that. So, who are you working with in the secondary, and who do you see needs to be big for us this year?
I'm working with the corners and the safeties. As far as, going back to Cody, Keegan's kind of our guy in the secondary. As far as experience is big time on a football field, and his IQ level of the game. Like Bill said, Micah Bowles, he's improving every single day. He's getting there, as well as Peyton Griffith. Those corner positions we're going to have to rely on. And, out there you're on an island. It's you against the guy across from you. So their mindset's got to be a little bit different, and it's getting there, but, it isn't an overnight thing. So.
To start with, Mason, in the 4-2-5 concept, that gives you 2 corners out on the edge, and then what else? You've got the strong free and
so you're going to have 2 corners out on the edge. You'll have a strong safety, a free safety, and then a hybrid, which is like our star/linebacker. You kind of do both. So.
Are you excited about this?
Oh, absolutely.
Let's see here.
Absolutely.
In the school, over the school. Our water guy. But you're not teaching. You've got an outside job too, so you have to blend that in. And then working in coaching.
Absolutely. Yeah. A whole lot of film study.
Yeah, there you go. We're glad to have you on staff.
Thank you.
We got a glimpse of you last year.
Yes, sir.
But you had to go back off to school. Fortunately for your team, unfortunate for us, but glad to have you back here. And then the guy who coaches almost every position on the team, John Hayden.
I wouldn't say that actually. I was
Well,
just joking.
No, you said that.
I was joking. I do special teams and I help Coach Hall with offense and defensive line. There's not really anybody that comes to mind, but just the overall group. I think everybody's grown. I think everybody sees, like Coach Hall says every day, here's the standard. And I think they're starting to realize that, hey, this isn't the same Scott High as the past couple of years. We're trying to reach here every day, and just the way these kids show up and work every day, it's just awesome to see, and that's why they deserve something like this right here.
Yeah, exactly. From last year to this year, am I wrong to say we need improvements off of every group, and we need some groups to really improve this year?
Yes, I mean, coming from coaching special teams, I think that's one thing that really needs to step up big time, is because the past couple of years it was just block whoever was near you. But I think this year we're going to try to have a purpose on who we're blocking and have a purpose on where we're trying to get the ball to, just things like that.
I talked with Coach Hall as we were walking down the field to get to the turf here. I can see a couple of players that could be dynamic returners in your kickoff and punt return.
Yes.
You want to address that?
Both the Bond brothers, they're quick and they're fast and they're powerful. The main thing that we want to focus on is just getting downhill, north and south. We don't want them running east to west. We want north and south running. And Lucas Bowles, he's another one. He's very fast. My mind's kind of went blank on whoever, but Ashton Taylor. But our two guys back deep are Michael Bond and Cameron Bond.
Okay. I skipped over this. I meant to ask Eric this. Eric's also been the weight room guru.
Yes, sir.
And I was out here in the spring, man, and you had those kids. You had the heat on. It was 95 degrees in there.
Yes, sir.
And you had them pumping iron. I mean, I've never seen a bunch work as hard as you had them in the,
yes, sir.
Weight room.
I'll tell you, I couldn't ask for a better group of kids to want to work. You're not chasing kids down, trying to push them to the weight room. They're down here, they're dressed, they're ready to work. At first, the first couple of weeks, they didn't like the heat. All right, now it was a little cold during the spring and winter, so we cranked the heat up, and there's so many kids just losing fat and gaining muscle. They start seeing those differences, then you're having to push kids away from the mirror over there flexing, So, hey, get back to doing your list. But after, it's just amazing. Then watching it translate to the field has just been, we're going to shock some people. We're going to shock some people.
That's good. Let's swing it over this way right here, Coach Billy Hall. What do you like about your assistants, and what are they bringing out on the field? I mean, first of all, I think they're bringing discipline. And second, as I watch practice, I see that they're trying to keep tempos up on everything you do.
I think it's just every drill you do at game speed. Like, if you're going to kind of go through it kind of jogging, you're not going to get any better. So I think that's the big thing, is they just take everything game speed. They hold the kids to a standard. They make them bring it every single day. It's awesome. Like, I seriously couldn't ask for a better group of guys. I really couldn't.
And they are a good group of guys. And I didn't ask for this. When I was talking with them last week and earlier this week, I said, just wear what you've got after practice, because this is essentially done after practice. And they went out and look, they really dressed up.
Expectations.
Expectations. That's what you're trying to raise, and I think that translates down to these young men. And I look forward to it. Any of you guys with a final thought, anything you want to mention, and then about the team and where we're progressing, and then I'm going to come back to Coach Hall Sr. here, and we're going to get a progress report on the turf we're standing on.
Yes, sir.
Anything?
Coming right back to you.
I think Coach John Hayden hit a tremendous nail on the head when he talked about the group. We can sit there and mention individual names all day. I think of the unselfishness of a Brett Hall. I think the unselfishness of a Mason Akers. I think the unselfishness of any kid that's out here right now. But those guys have worked to no end. So appreciate John Hayden saying that. Because as a group, and I think as we go forward, you'll see this group progress in that way.
We're standing on a portion of the turf Still got a lot of work to go, and we're putting together a time lapse that will be in this program too, showing the construction from taking it all down, taking all the turf and dirt off, and then back to right here. But essentially, I know a couple things happened. We're a little bit behind schedule, but the hope is that we're still there when we need to by the first game.
Yes. Right now, what they mentioned the other day was when they put the first rollout, that 17 days was kind of what the project manager had mentioned to me that day. Now, we got to hope that we get great weather, and it's cooperated this week. It looks like next week's going to be great as well. But seems like for some reason there's always been a day or two lag, and that's just part of construction. You know, anytime you're with that. So you can see where we are now. They're getting ready. Most of the playing surface. They'll finish probably down to the end zone tomorrow. Then they got to come in with the sides there, and then. You know, what's going to be amazing to me is that he said they come in with sheep shears and they will shear out each number, each hash, and then take that section of turf that's for that and place that down in there, glue it, sew it. I think it's glued, I'm going to guess. And then come in, you see everything in the parking lot. We have sand, we have the monofill rubber, and we also have the cool play, which will be about 2.5, 2 3/4 inches. The design of this with the cool play is supposed to keep it 35 degrees cooler than a normal turf system. Also, it's the top quality for safety and top quality for the fabric that they make. So we spared none of that. When we got our kids, we went to the best. And we reached out and looked around. What I thought was probably one of the top countries, if not the top turf industry bunch in the country. They just did a contract to do 15 Metro Nashville schools. They're currently also on the field for the Cincinnati Bengals. They had 13 projects going on as we were talking, and when this group got here, they just finished one on Sunday, was here on Monday morning. So,
and this is, I don't want to say it's a trend, but let's look around. An opponent maybe next year. McQuarrie Central just put in a new turf system. Jellicoe just put in a new turf system. Alcoa's put in a new turf system. Down in Blount County, you had William Blount and Heritage. They just put in new turf systems. Yeah. Every school in Knoxville's got a new turf system, no more than 3 or 4 years old. It's going in, like you said, in Nashville, all over the place. Turf is going to be the thing, and this cool surface feel just sounds tremendous for the kids. So don't have these things, it's 15 to 20 degrees hotter than a regular surface. This surface will not be that.
It shouldn't be, according to what, the technology that we got and what they have designed for us. So, and we looked at ours, really honestly, Coach Shannon and myself really started right before COVID. Really started to seriously get into this because we had such a bad water on the field we couldn't get off. Right. And when the guy when he started working on it, and I've mentioned this several times, it was the worst, absolute worst they had ever worked on when it come to the amount of water that was in the clay and that was on the field, and to get it out. He still said with the drain system is unbelievable that gets this water, hits on it now. H and I watched it the other day, and I mean, it flies out. It's going to keep it off of here. He said still maybe a couple years to get everything that's underneath and out. He said because there's just so much. We had to do some extra things with it, with the concrete soil that's underneath this. It's just kind of amazing to watch the whole thing as it's transpired. I want to thank, number one, our Scott County School Board, people of Scott County, Scott High Administration. As this project's come along, we kind of felt like it was now, or we didn't know if we could do it. So it's here. We're excited, ready to get going on it. I can say that much.
Ready to get playing on it.
Yes, we are. Yes, we are.
First thing I want to do, first really preseason thing that I put together, and all these years I've been doing it. But Coach, I want to thank you. I want to thank your assistant coaches. You're always hospitable to us when we come to practice. You're as a group, talk to us about anything we want to talk about. So I appreciate what you do to give the IH Sports crew just a little help as we prepare for our games each week.
Yes, sir. Absolutely. I want to thank y'all, though, for everything y'all do and how appreciative I am. It's like, I don't know if y'all could ever, I don't know if I could ever express how appreciative I am, because there's so much that goes on that nobody really sees, like behind the scenes, to put on for what y'all do Friday nights. And y'all are always welcome, anytime. Practice, weightlifting, doesn't matter, y'all are welcome. Coaches meeting, anytime.
Thanks a lot, Coach Billy Hall.
Yes,
we'll
sir.
be back more. We've got another segment to go. We'll capture that right after this.
Thank you, First National Bank.
At First National Bank, we bleed orange and red. That's because we're a local bank, and we're proud to support our community's teams. But we do more than just root on the Indians and the Highlanders on game nights. We're honored to sponsor all our community schools and their athletic programs. First National Bank. Since 1904, we're deeply rooted in Scott County.
Thank you, First National Bank.
At Mountain People's Health Councils, our culture is caring and accountability. We care about our patients, and we want to do everything we can to help them when they need it the most. Our mission is to provide health care access to everyone in need, regardless of their ability to pay. Mountain People's is recognized as one of the top performing health centers in the country for patient outcomes. Mountain People's has clinics in Oneida, Huntsville, Elgin, Norma, and Winfield. Call 286-4141 to schedule an appointment.
If you vape, you could be inhaling toxic metals into your lungs. To show how scary that is, we made Metal Monsters. With special effects that show metal particles being inhaled. And music that would have made your heart race. But nothing is as scary as the facts. Vaping can deliver toxic metals like nickel and lead into your lungs. That's metal in your lungs.
Tail sleep.
You may have heard of different types of loans or certain kinds of products or something, but that may not be what you need exactly. So we're going to have a conversation and figure out exactly what it is you're after and what you're looking to do. And then I will say, okay, here are our options, and here are the good things about this, and here are the things that you have to consider as well. You're making that decision with me. Once we kind of figure out what we're after, we're in this together, and I'm going to try to get you to the finish line and get your loan taken care of. But I want it to be the right loan for you, and it needs to fit what you really need.
Welcome back. Our last segment in the 2024 Highlander preview season. This is the Highlander crew. I've been saying Highlander crew for 30 years now, but to my far left right here, being Garrett, being the architect of the Independent Herald Sports Network, and we found out that, man, we really like him because he can do a lot of color commentary, and he can multitask and do three things at once when we're doing a broadcast.
He can carry a lot of gear in.
Thank you, Ben. Harris Keaton. He's our analyst. Woody Keaton. Woody does the stats for us in-house during the game. And pretty much Woody is our historian with our Highlander records. If you want to know who the leading rusher was from, say, 2007, Woody knows that.
I got all that stuff there at the house.
He's been working on. So he's our historian, he's our statistician, and we think one of the best that there is to do that. So we talk with the coaches. We've talked with Coach Billy Hall. I had a segment earlier and we talked about the history of the stadium and what we're doing right now. Can this be, I don't want to use the word magical, but can this be the season with everything that we've got here, guys, that this program, we took a step forward last year, can we take 2 or 3 steps forward in your opinion?
I could see us taking a couple steps, I really could. Mm-hmm. A lot of it's going to depend on just how, it isn't just an effort thing. The kids have got the effort, but they've had some good practices, and I'm really excited about going and watching a scrimmage tomorrow evening just to see how the practice field work translate out onto a football field. Then I'll really be able to answer that question.
And once again, we did film this about 2 weeks before the start of the regular season, so we still got blanks to fill in there like that. Ben, what do you look forward to season-wise?
Well, you talk about this being the year that you take a huge step forward. I don't know. I mean, obviously by by tomorrow night we'll start to answer that question.
Yeah.
By mid-October, we're going to be a long ways toward answering that question. But I'll tell you this, I am more excited about the start of this football season than I have been in a long time, a lot of years. There's always excitement when there's new and change. But I'm excited. I mean, the staff, you saw these coaches out here with us earlier. It's a young group. They're energetic. The kids feed off of that. And we saw that some last year. I think we're going to see it a lot more this year. And I'm excited. I'm excited to get this thing started. Cumberland County, though, that's you know what I'm looking for the most? A win in week 1 over in Crossville. Man, I don't want to jump ahead of what you're getting ready to get to. Such a huge game because that's going to set the tone for everything to come.
Exactly. And you know, when we get down in there where those X's are for those district games, being right there, that's going to be the pudding that we get the proof in.
That's right. Woody, what are you looking forward to?
I was just, we was in there in the dressing room, but just being, I don't know a lot of them people, some of them guys I don't, but I mean, just the energy they got. I've even come up to practice the last couple of days and watched them practice. First time probably 15, 16 years that I've come to watch them practice. I mean, the energy that they had the other day and the kids. I talked to Coach Billy Hall there, and I mean, they done some hitting. He said, we hadn't done that. I said, I don't know where that come in at, but we've been on to them. And dude, it was just good to see that, the kids really bought into what they are, and the good coaching staff. I mean, just like they said earlier, they're young, but they're up and they're wanting to go. And I think this is going to be one heck of a season that people didn't think we was going to have. But I look for big things for us.
Woody, the one thing is they have so much room for improvement. This year, I believe they're going to improve.
Right, exactly. I mean, we always talk about injuries. I mean, I think that's going to be a key in some of these positions we have. But I mean, the kids have worked. They was working hard this week. I mean, I hope that continues on, and I'm sure it will with the coaches that we've got.
I like what Coach Hall does. He puts his practice. Every coach does this in segments, but I mean, they go about 10, 12 minutes, and it's a water break. They get max effort there, then they get a water break because it's hot. The humidity is way up there like that, but the coaching staff looking after our players. What I want to look at now, I've given each one of you. Here's our schedule. The dates that we play, the teams we play. Of course, it's the same schedule we played last year. We just flip-flopped home and away games. This year, we only have 4 home games. Play 3 on the road, got a home game. Play 3 on the road, got a home game. Play 3 on the road, then finish up with 3 home games. And out there, you see, we're going to go over the schedule right now and the result from last year. I want to see if you guys think we can improve on some of these, because we were 3 points away, maybe 5 points, 6 points away from winning a couple more games last year. Let's start first, August 23rd. That's at Cumberland County to take on the Jets. That's an 8 o'clock Eastern time start for us. 8 o'clock Eastern time at Cumberland County. Last year we lost here on this field by 3, 7-10. Cumberland County finished last year with a 3-win, 7-loss record. Woody, starting with you. We just talked about it. That's important. Can we defeat Cumberland County down there?
Yes, that is like Ben said earlier, that is really the tone of our season. That first game and getting a win, at Cumberland County, and yes, definitely we're gonna win that one.
Okay.
Hey, guys, if it's my turn, I'll say this. Yeah, Cumberland County definitely could be a win for our Highlanders. We'll know about the improvements.
Okay, next game on the schedule, August 29th. That is a Thursday game. Thursday, August 29th, with a 7 o'clock start time. That is at Eagleton Academy down in Blount County. New team to us. This is on their second year of varsity football. And, in a weather-delayed game last year, before being called, even before the end of the third quarter, the Highlanders win their first game in, I think it had been like 20 games since we had an on-field win. Yeah. And we defeated Eagleton 31-7. They finished 4-7. And Ben Garrett, we talked about that a lot last year. That Eagleton team got better as the season went.
Oh, they absolutely did. And let's not kid ourselves, guys. They're going to be better this year than they were at the end of last year. They're only their second year in varsity football, as you mentioned. They've got all the tools over there, all the resources to be a really good program, not just in football, but across the board in every sport. I think we're going to see a much improved Eagleton team when we go over there for that Thursday night game. But I think these Highlanders are going to be up for that. It's a good matchup, I think, and I expect them to go over there and compete really well.
Third game comes on September the 6th. That's Clinton, and that's over Clinton. By the way, they have a turf field that they put in last year, so Clinton with a turf field down there. We fell 45-0 here, and that's the first time, being the third game, that's the first time that we look like we can struggle offensively unless some big things happen, and we couldn't get the big things to happen there against Clinton. So Clinton's still going to be good. They finished 6-7. They went 3 rounds deep into the playoffs. So
they had some coaching changes, I think.
Yeah.
Clinton this year. So that always does. It does 2 things. Either a coach comes in and he brings up the full potential of the team, or they take a year or 2 to get things back together. Right now, I'd call that an even though they are, what, are they 5A? 4A?
Yeah, 5A. Yeah, I think they're like
you know, I think Clinton's always solid.
Yeah.
They're always a solid program.
They got
last year, they kind of caught lightning in a bottle.
Yeah.
They were so well coached last year, and they brought that guy in. And I hate he's not there anymore. Based on everything I've read about that, it's just really unfortunate.
Yeah.
He was let go over something that it looks like now probably didn't even happen. And it's just an unfortunate situation. But with him being out of the picture, I don't see how Clinton can be quite as good this year. I know they bring a lot back, and the size of the school means they've got a lot of kids to throw on a football field.
But remember,
they had
I think they'll have to take a step
3 or
back.
4 skilled people.
Coach Darrell Keith last year, his son also was a dynamic quarterback.
Yes, he was.
As a senior last year playing for him. D1 prospects that he's already signed, committed there like that. So, you know, I look for us to have a better chance there. Then we get one of the Kentucky teams, Knox Central Kentucky, on Friday, September 13th. Remember, all games here at Highlander Field start at 7:30. All the other games will be at 7 o'clock start, other than Cumberland County, which is 8 o'clock start. But what do you remember most about that Knox Central team? My first thought is they came in here, and I thought we had to play physical and sort of punch them in the face.
No, we went up there. We went up there.
Oh, we went up there?
Yeah, we went there, but
we didn't punch them.
We didn't. We wasn't the one done the punching. They done the punching, and they done it quick, often, and whatever they wanted to do, really, that's what they done.
Next on our schedule will be September 20th. That's Kingston, first region game of the season. I think we consider that a rivalry. They don't at all down in Roane County.
Yeah.
And Kingston got the edge on us again, and we pretty much became, I think, one-dimensional. Teams had learned to shut down any run game that we had, and all we could do is try to throw the ball in. And Kingston, it's not a slow down offense, but they just pound the ball. They won't throw it much. They may throw 5 times a game, but they just pound and run the clock, and we just couldn't compete with that effort that they gave us last year.
Well, Coach Pankey's one of those coaches that kind of believes that he'll throw the ball at certain times, but he sort of thinks that only 2 things can happen when you throw the ball, you know. And both of them is really not very good.
How about Whitley County, Kentucky on Friday, October 4th? We fell 63-14. That game was here. Once again, we had that lull in the mid-season right there that we just at times felt like we show up, but do we want to compete?
We had some injuries along about that time.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, we just didn't. I mean, coach up there, we knowed him when he was at Own Island, and he went on to college there at Cumberland. I mean, but that one, I thought he kind of let up the gas a little bit, I thought, but no, it wasn't. He just continued on, mashing it down. So, I look for a better game this go around with us. So, we'll see what happens. I mean, he put 63 on us, but, it's like I said, if we can go through with not a lot of injuries to keep people and stuff, I think that'll be a little bit different story this go around.
Our second region game will be Union County. Again, that's our final road game of the regular season. That's on Friday, October the 11th. Ben, Union County, another one of those region games, and we pretty well, I don't want to say we hang our hat on the fact that there are a couple of teams in our region for us to be a playoff team. Kingston's probably one of those, and Union County's certainly one of those that we need to win to give ourselves a chance.
I think that game last year was an overtime game, if I remember correctly, and they scored on a 2-point conversion and beat us. And that, to me, for Scott High last year, that was the heartbreaker. Cumberland County was a heartbreaker, but that Union County game hurt.
Yes.
And talking to Coach Hall the elder the other day, and he said, listen, he said, we're going to have to improve to beat Union County, and I think he's right. But as you said, you don't have to beat Union County to get in the playoffs necessarily, but if you beat them, you're probably in the playoffs. You're probably not going to miss the playoffs if you beat Union County. It's kind of developed into a little bit of a rivalry across all sports because we share the district in so many sports now, and basketball and soccer and pretty much everything.
They're a rural school.
And they're a rural school, and up in Maynardville, just like here in Huntsville. That should be a great game. And I know I said Cumberland County is the important one because everything's going to hinge on that, I think. That's going to be the tone setter. But then after that, you're not, the players and the coaches can't look ahead to Union County, obviously. As fans, we can kind of look ahead a little bit. That is going to be such an important game.
Certainly think so. We finished with 3 home games. October 18th, Alcoa. Well, I can't say much about Alcoa, but they're another state. They've added another state championship to the resume last year. So they defeated us 49-0 last year and finished 13-1 as a championship game. Again, this season they only have 9 regular season games like they had last year, but that's a game that I'd like for us to be healthy when we get to there.
Compete.
And just compete and give us a chance to see what can happen. Then on Friday, October 25th, it's going to be Pickett County here. I'm not sure if they changed head coaches. We can't check on that because Pickett County is still not playing Tennessee
full varsity.
Well, playoff contender. So they're not listed, so they don't have to report a lot of stuff to the TSSA, like who your coaches are, assistant coaches, and that sort of thing. We do know that with Pickett County, our old buddy that we interviewed last year, former Highlander coach that we interviewed last year over at Pickett County, Cody Muse, he's now the offensive coordinator, I think, at Pickett County. So, thoughts on
that? I hadn't heard that. So.
I think so.
So, I mean, that'll be, well, it won't be no different game than what was over there when they come over here. But I did look up on their website and stuff. I think they play 6 games. They open up with Sunbright here in a few weeks. So, I mean, that's, but then they got some tough games. They play Cumberland County too in week 2. So we're their place. So that game, I still think that it could be almost the same score as it was over there.
The final game of the season. It's on November 1st. That's at Austin East. We play them here. They defeated us last year 60-28. Head coach moved on. Had a little other trouble over there like that. They brought back Stanton Stevens, who just happened to be the head coach when they won the last state championship in 2003 or something like that. He is a very disciplined and organized individual. Already made a lot of improvements. They've redone their locker room, a lot of other improvements over there in Austin East. And we've always thought, well, that's another team we need to be able to compete with.
Stanton, when he was over there that first time, he sort of brought that program out of just sort of the mid-level and brought them to the top, and they got that big trophy. And
we know that over there athletes are very important to them, but they've lost 2 of those important athletes.
Especially the main one.
Went to, and he does it all, runs, throws, whatever. He went to an academy to concentrate in Florida, Central Florida, to concentrate only on basketball. Little brother, Condis Cherry,
he went to Alcoa.
He went to Alcoa. And he's sort of like can do everything athlete. He's smaller, at only like 5'8" or something like that, but he's smaller, but he's got all the speed.
Any way you go about Austin East, when they come here, they'll be coming with a lot of speed. Sometimes they have size, sometimes they don't. I think maybe this year they'll have enough size that we will have to play our absolute best to have a chance.
To me, last year, that Austin East game was maybe one of the most disappointing games. The fact we went over there thinking we can compete. If we can beat them, we're going to have a shot to slip into the playoffs. And they hung 60 on us, and that was tough. And Cherry went off on us. I don't think there was nearly that big a gap between Scott High and Austin East last year, but I also think with Coach Stevens back, I guarantee you Austin East is going to be a better football team this year.
We had a lot of defensive mistakes, mental mistakes.
And when we played them, I mean, we had some hope because they'd only won 3 games.
Right. They didn't look like it that night, though, did they?
No.
Well, for a while, I mean, you know.
Deep in the playoffs, so it shows you that they clicked at the right time.
I mean, you know, there for a while, you know, it's 14-14, and then we was up. I think we scored first, and, you know, Byron, and that second half, I don't know what happened in that second half. It got ugly in a hurry.
Well, sometimes that is the thing. At halftime, some of those schools, man, they come out kicking the doors down.
Indeed. And we've talked about it. Only 4 home games. The first one will be on September 13th here. First time the football team will get to play on the new turf surface. Coach Billy Hall has already been working. He can't sign contracts till like September, October, or November, sometime like that. But he's already got teams committed. He's essentially got the 2025-26 teams lined up that will be on our schedule. So he's way ahead on that. I know who they are. I won't name drop any of them at this point in time. But he has kept sort of a challenging schedule, and that's what a good coaching staff, I feel, wants to do. To have a challenging schedule, to challenge your players. The only way you're going to get better, sharpen the knife, so to speak, is to keep playing good teams.
Yeah.
And guys, excited about the field we're standing on?
Ain't no doubt about it. But
I just really want to see when they get the rest of it put down on the sidelines. And they come in here and put the logos down, the center of the field, the end zones. And man, I'm going to have to come out and watch them do the thing with not just the numbers, but those 1 yard,
those hash marks.
Hash marks up the field. You know, they say that goes quick, but man, it's just hard to believe as slow as it was just moving a thing and spraying paint how much time it took.
That's exactly right.
Guys, I can't tell you for how many years I've come down here when we're getting ready for the start of the season like this, and they're out here putting sand in the holes and doing all that stuff. And I'm excited just because these kids deserve something better, and they've got something better. One of the school board members, I was talking to them, they said, "What's your opinion on the turf?" I said, "You know what, I don't really have an opinion on turf. As a matter of fact, I kind of like natural grass myself. But I don't care if it was turf, if it was grass, if it was sand, you know, we played on sand over at Pickett County last year, didn't we? I don't care what it is. These kids deserve something better. And you look at it now, it's nowhere near done, but it's already looking good.
Well, guys,
and that's exciting.
I don't know if Coach Hall, Bill Hall, if he mentioned or not, but all this gravel, if you've been going by, and I don't know how many feet deep this gravel is, but it essentially serves as a large storage tank. Well, you get all the water running down, and it's the permeability in the gravels.
The gravel's only 6, 7, 8 inches there like that.
It's still a tank. This is a good sized water tank.
Yeah, what was the most amazing thing, of course, as I show you, there's a circular drainage system all the way around the field. And then there's some side drains that angle, that tie into that right there. You talk about the clay surface underneath. You just had to see that machine work. It was a giant rototilling machine that went down 18 inches. They spread cement on top of that, and it rototilled the cement into that dirt. Then it all got rolled and packed back down again to essentially make cement to help be a solid surface so the water wouldn't run off.
It was just amazing to sit here and watch that work. It was just, I mean,
you know what? It's been a great thing that you guys have done to have that playing 24 hours a day so a body can check in and keep up with the progress.
Well, that's all Greg Bond does.
Well, Greg, you've done good.
And,
again.
All his idea and all his doing from a technological standpoint too. And I check it out regularly. And I was on here yesterday just looking at the progress, and there were quite a few people on here watching with me. It was interesting.
Yeah, I never meet that. We need to talk about the Independent Herald Sports Network, ihsports.net. This begins our 4th season of streaming football, and eventually we'll get to basketball. We may do middle school. There's a whole bunch of things that we're trying to grow. And then let's talk about the growth of the IHSN network from year 1, when we first started at Cofield, to what we're getting into this year.
Yeah, so if you remember back at the start of year 1, when you guys were down at Cofield on the roof, and I sent you down there with an iPad, and the audio gear that we're using now is still the same as it was then. And I was up at Oneida that night working with that crew, and it was a disaster. and we had a couple more disasters as we went through that season, and that's when Greg Bond jumped on board. He said, "I think I can help you out." And man, did he ever. And Greg's a guy that has the know-how to get, we knew where we wanted to get. We had a vision of where we wanted to get from day 1 to year 2, year 3, and on down the road. Well, Greg jumped in and got us where we wanted to get, really by the end of year 1. But all we've done since then is get better, and there's so many people that's involved. All of you guys, of course, and then Stuart Jones he handles the sales end of it, and we keep having new sponsors that jump on board. Obviously, we couldn't do it without them because all this gear that we bought, we didn't have a really expensive setup when we started year 1. We've got a pretty expensive setup right now. And I think that's important because we've invested in covering these kids, and we're trying to do it in a way that I don't care what community you go into, even if it's Knoxville, you're not going to find it done any better. And I think we hold our own with those big guys, you know. Well, and so it takes money to do that, and so our sponsors make that possible. We couldn't do it without them.
You know, I think I all had a little pride last year during the basketball tournament out here when so many people was coming up and saying they had family
overseas in one case.
The Netherlands. I mean, it was.
Yeah,
it's great.
It's been a progress, and it's been work, and it's not over. I mean, we're still trying to. We've got ideas that we want to implement, and some of them I'm not even sharing with you guys yet. And we probably won't get to all of them this season, but eventually we will. And it's fun. It's a lot of fun.
I know. One of them involves a truck. Sometime we'll have a production truck. I don't know who will sit in it.
And a helicopter to fly to the games too.
Yeah.
Well, drones would come in handy.
Drones would come in handy, yeah. I mean, on that. But the IHSN, not only is it Scott Highlanders, but it's Oneida Indians. We did a ton of basketball last season. We've intertwined that with a soccer game here or there. Like I said, we would like to do
some middle school stuff.
Middle school football and maybe middle school basketball. The future is out there for us, and we hope to make those steps to get there. Do we not?
It's all for the kids in the essence.
It's all for the kids.
We're standing on this is for the kids.
You know, I think we're going to have some big time football games at the middle school level on this field.
I think so.
I think we'll be here for that.
So.
I think we can work that out. And there's your notice, Greg. And no, I think we can work that out. It's towards the end of the season. Birchfield, Oneida, and Huntsville, and Oneida. What fun Thursday nights are those going to be? And and it's you mentioned the other sports like soccer and stuff like that, and Oneida they've got a student network up and running, and we work well with them. And Bo Kidd, he kind of oversees all that. He jumps in and helps the Oneida crew. Scott Highlander has got all that same gear in the CTE department down here, and I hope that's the next step that we're going to see here. And we're already trying to work with kids. We use kids behind our cameras on Friday nights and then for basketball games too. And so we're trying to involve kids where we can. And I think as the schools get more ingrained in this CTE audio video production, I think that we're gonna have the ability. Schools are going to have the ability, and we're going to be able to help them do more soccer and more spring sports and things like that. And so that's exciting.
2 cameras, maybe a sideline camera. I mean, there's just the possibilities are there, but.
We added instant replay last year. We actually added it in basketball season the year before, but for football last year was the first time we had it. This year, I think, and I'm going to put Greg on the spot right here, I think we're going to have 2 cameras this year for the first time. And then from there, I mean, hopefully, now this is not going to happen this year. This is down the road. Eventually, we'll get to the point where we'll have a camera on the sideline so we can really catch those exciting angles on the replay. We'll get there eventually. We're not quite there yet, but we'll get there.
It's an exciting time, and for me, this is an exciting time. I got here early this evening, and look, football teams practicing there, and don't want everybody to get the idea you cannot do away with practice fields because there's going to be a lot of use right here. Maybe if there's going to be a girls soccer game here, then the football boys may have to practice over the. But the band was practicing back there. Girls soccer was practicing over here. Look, they've got. I guess storm football going on over there. This is an exciting year to sit here and look at what's going on.
You put soccer and some middle school games on it. There may be some weeks where all week long they'll have to use the practice field. So that's another good. You need to keep that maintained very well too.
Principal Jeremy Hamby talked about that at a school board meeting when they were approving this project, which seems like forever ago, but it was just a few months ago. And he talked about the fact that you could have middle school football at least on Thursday, maybe even on Tuesday, or have soccer on Tuesday, have something on Saturday. I mean, there's so much you can do, maybe graduation down here potentially next year. And this field's going to see a lot of use, and that's exciting. I mean, we're excited for football, but I'm excited to get soccer over here, to get the middle school here. I think Storm's going to play here some, too, if something hasn't changed.
We hope.
And it's great. It's great for the community. And Rick, you mentioned earlier about this being the trend. every high school, not every high school, but a lot of high schools are going to this now. And it
They're
seems
going
like
to baseball fields with it.
they
They're
are
in high schools.
It seems like in Scott County we're always behind the curve on everything. It's nice to be in the middle of that curve.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Yep, can't, you know, we just gotta, and we will. We'll get the team that provides us quality football and entertainment here on this field, and we really look forward to our first game getting here. The team will be able to practice on it a little bit.
Yeah.
Like I say, it looks like it's slow right now, but the guys who put these fields down, they give themselves about 20 days or so to put it down. Now, our field's a little bit different because on the home side that I'm pointing at right now, we're a little wider. We went all the way over to the bleachers there like that. It gives a lot of room. I think even where the cheerleaders had a little bit of a platform right here, they'll be down here on the turf right in front of the bleachers. So there's all kinds of things going on, and I've already mentioned it earlier in the broadcast, for the first time ever, there's a press box sponsor. This year it'll be known as the Twin K Press Box. And so exciting things are happening. I think the young coaching staff that we got, they've got 2 whiteboards in there. They write down these ideas.
Well, they brought in a bigger one too. They came up with a real big one.
They've got their own HSM. We've got our own first down sponsor, our touchdown sponsor. They've got their own first down and touchdown sponsors now. I mean, so it's just growing, and I really look forward to this season. Look forward to sharing it with you guys, and I hope that that's because you're watching this preview, which would drop a week. We think it'll go online a week before our first game on August the 16th. Come out here, watch Highlander football, and I think the other thing, if you've done any reading and listening, all the school systems around us, and it's not set by the school system, it's set by the regional or district coaches, the admission prices. Highlander admission prices, they're going to be $8.
Yeah.
Everybody else is going to 10. So I hate to tell you what everybody else is going to in price for basketball. I mean, you're going to question that, but I mean, we want you to come be the spectator here.
Right.
That September game is going to be a bargain, is what you're saying.
I think it's going to be a real bargain. We want our team to hear our fans supporting them loud and proud, and that's the only thing we really can't bring to you in terms of our streaming service. But we want to be here. We want to support them in person, and look very forward to getting the season started just a few days from now. Gentlemen?
Looking forward to it. I can't wait. It's a few weeks ago I thought, well, man, here it is, but then, man, it's here. It's just, and it's so exciting. I mean, I watch it 3 or 4 times a day to watch these guys work. I mean, it's just amazing. And I was still over here the other day and watched them sew this together. It's just amazing. And like I said, I still want to see them put the numbers and all that stuff, how that is done. It's really be exciting how they do it. And it'll be so much difference once they get everything in place, where everything in logos. I hadn't seen the real thing, and Coach Hall showed me the whole picture of it. And it's
the Rifleman logo.
Right. But the way it goes and stuff, I mean, it's amazing. I mean, it's.
I've been doing this for well over 30 years, guys. And I'll tell you what I look forward to. I look forward from the press box, being able to look out across this field and see the hash marks on the field.
Exactly.
Well, like I
for
said,
30 years, never been able to see them, so I really look forward to that, man.
Yeah, that's going to be such a wonderful thing. Even with the sun coming in early in the games, we may have a little bit of trouble depending on how bright the sun is that day, but like I say, this is the 3rd iteration of a home Scott High football field.
Started out as grass, went to
Huntsville first year on grass, then the
grass here, then the what was the grass we put down? The
Bermuda
grass, and now
but
finally
this is going to be so different. This is going to be it's the same quality that pro teams play on.
Yes,
the exact same.
Look forward to it.
And if you wonder about it being laid down on gravel, don't, because down in Atlanta, that big stadium down there, they're laying it on asphalt.
Yeah.
And so, not to be worried about it. If you're worried about yourself, there's going to be 1.5 inches of sand, and then another 1/2 inch of pellets, and then the other stuff goes down.
Cool,
it's going to be soft and everything like that. Don't worry about it. this is the Highlander crew. We hope you've enjoyed this preseason look at the Highlander team, talking with Coach Billy Hall and the assistant coaches, get to know them a little bit better. As we said earlier, good group of guys. For Ben, HL, Woody, myself, Rick Keaton, it's been a pleasure. We hope that you tune in to Highlander football on the IHSN, and if that is, maybe if we're on the road, but always go out and support the kids. That's it. We say good night until our first home game here.